Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined today by Dan Yeager. Dan, welcome.
Thank you, Aaron. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. So you are an actor, a writer, a director, and most notably, you starred as Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw 3D. So congratulations on that. Congratulations on taking on a role of Leatherface in one of the best horror franchises out there.
It was certainly an experience and a genuine privilege, I would say.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Well, I'm thrilled to chat with you. So let's jump right into it. My very first question for you is, how did you get the role of Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw?
Um, I was an aspiring at that point aspiring actor in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
Um, you know, going to school, doing all that actor stuff, trying to,
Yes.
get into the business and,
Hmm.
whatnot. Anyway, I was helping a friend make a pilot, or actually, yeah, I guess we'd call it a pilot episode for a reality TV show
Oh,
about trying to get into the movie business as an actor. And anyway, it was an interesting endeavor. Turned out that the guy who had just bought the rights to the Texas Chainsaw franchise, he was a producer over at Twisted Pictures, and so had been working on the Saw franchise for many years.
yes.
And anyway, he ended up being able to purchase the rights to the story. And he was also a friend of my friend who was making this pilot for this reality TV show. And like you do, he called in, for help from all of his friends, including me and this producer
Hmm.
who
Hmm.
produced, who now own the rights to Texas Chainsaw. Anyway, I was not there as an actor. I was there helping produce the thing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We were building sets. We were wrangling, it was a big production. And anyway, Carl, his name was the producer. We became friends. And I never ever broached the subject that I was an actor, but Carl is no idiot and he knew I was an actor.
Yes.
Because I was also taking an acting class from another mutual friend of ours. Hollywood is a very small town.
Comes full circle. Right, right. Keep going.
Jeff Salentano was the guy, a great director, and he was teaching this, you know, movie acting class, and it was a great class.
Hmm.
And anyway, we were things went on and it was months and months. We were, we just were hanging out a lot and going to the cigar bar. And I was helping him fix a bunch of stuff on his house. He had a nice house up in the Hollywood Hills, and he was having a heck of a time getting it done. And that was the world that I had come from. I was actually in the construction business for many years, and particularly in millwork and cabinetry.
Yes, I did read
Do,
about that. So,
doing, I
mhm.
basically didn't do the actual work. I did design and stuff. I came at it from architecture.
I see, I see.
Anyway,
I I'd
anyway,
I'd love to hear that you showed up with a chainsaw and he was like,
yeah,
"Oh my God."
that would have, yeah.
That'd be something, right?
That had never even crossed my mind. Yeah, I think I'd only used a chainsaw once or twice in my life. Actually, I discouraged their use. I used to build custom houses, and I
Yeah.
had a plumber who would show up with a chainsaw every now and then, ready to,
Cut
make
some
room for
things.
his pipes and stuff. But anyway,
My gosh.
the as the time to chainsaw came closer, we were sitting around a cigar bar, and Jeff me, Carl, a bunch of other guys. And Jeff asks, how's Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming? And Carl just, he didn't want to talk about it. He says, don't even ask. It's terrible. And then he says, you know who'd make a great Leatherface? And, oh yeah, who? Dan. Oh my God. And I, I, you know, oh, I covered my face. Don't do that, because,
Sure.
in the business, if actors find out you're a movie producer,
Mhm.
they become other organisms. I don't know what
Mhm.
happens to them, but something goes wrong and they just it was always hard to watch,
Mhm.
we'd be somewhere and some aspiring actor would find out that he was a movie producer and just it was embarrassing. Anyway, like I said, I never broached the subject. And one day this was probably at least a month later.
Mhm.
We were uh we had done something. We were doing something at his house. I forget what it was. But anyway, he says, "Oh, you want to go out to dinner?" We used to like to go down to the Hamburger Hamlet on Sunset Boulevard, and
Sounds very good.
it was the best. I don't know if it's still there. But anyway, we used to sit in Dean Martin's booth. That was always fun. But
Of course, yeah.
anyway, I said, "Oh
As
no,
you
sorry,
must. Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
sorry, I got a thing I got to go do." And he says, "You're working on a play, aren't you?" I said, "Well, yes, I am." He says, "Well, are you going to invite me to it?" And I said, "Well, actually, I was going to wait and find out if it's any good before I invited you to it." He says, "Well, a real friend would invite, their friend." And I said, "All right."
Right up front, sure, sure.
I said, "No problem." I said, "I will make sure you have a ticket." And so I
Mhm.
hooked him up with a ticket for closing night, which in this particular production it was a British pantomime, if you're familiar with the art form. Uh, if you're not,
Generally familiar, but keep going.
yeah, anyway. So I played this Herbert the Horrible Ogre in Puss in Boots.
Wow,
And
you
I
can't make
was
that up.
I
That's
was this
fantastic.
I was
Yeah.
this big monster who was the villain of the piece, of whom they all spoke throughout the entire play and then showed up on stage in the last act. And so it was this whole build up to, oh, the ogre is
The
coming.
big ogre is coming, sure.
And it's funny, my sister made a video of this production, and I get a chuckle out of watching it. I finally I come booming onto the stage, and you hear screams in the audience. I mean, it was,
You invoked that
and
reaction,
and
right?
and yeah, and it's full of all these tiny little British people on stage, and I'm just this big monster.
Oh my gosh.
And anyway, it was an impressive role. Um, but I think that was the night that Carl really
Oh.
realized, oh, I think he might be able to do it. And he talked to Jeff again, and they discussed it. And then he talked to John Lessenhop, the guy he
Mhm.
chose to direct,
Yes.
and he wasn't the kind of guy to ever, just shove some actor down his director's throat, just because were friends. He wasn't going to do that. He basically invited us to the same holiday party that year,
Okay.
and um, John actually wrote a piece for the Huffington Post about it. Apparently, he was standing in the kitchen talking to Mark Berg, who was the founder and president of Twisted Pictures.
Mhm.
and they were friends from college, and so he says, we kept looking past Mark as Mark's trying to tell him something. And finally, Mark gets disgusted with him. He says, "Man, she better be the hottest thing in the world, or you're just an asshole," because he wasn't listening to him.
Oh my
And
gosh,
and
okay.
and and John swears he told him, "I think I'm looking at Leatherface."
Oh,
And I was
very
standing,
different. Yes.
I was standing across the room. I'm not a party guy,
I
um,
see.
and I knew a few people there, but I usually just kind of hang back and watch the proceedings.
Mhm, mhm.
But anyway, we met the following week, I believe, and and the rest is, as they say,
Is
history.
history.
Yeah,
Wow, it was meant to be. Looking back on it, it must seem that the stars aligned. It was a
yeah, yeah.
fortuitous everything
I
just lined up perfectly for
I
you.
hadn't really, I hadn't considered. I never considered myself a horror actor by any means, and
Yeah, well, you
I
stepped
had
into
more
the
hair and in my younger years, and
Yes. Well,
could have passed, but I don't
di
know.
didn't we all? Well, you were perfect for the role. You did such a
Well, thank you.
fantastic job.
It's
You're
nice of you.
welcome. So once you had the part, so once you knew you were going to play Leatherface, what sort of preparation did you do for the role? You mentioned that you hadn't really handled a chainsaw before.
Not a
Did
lot.
you
Yeah, no.
not a lot? You just showed up and it was natural, came
Yeah,
naturally.
yeah. And it's there's there's a lot of waving of the there's not a lot of practical use of the
That's
chainsaw in
true.
the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not about good woodcraft. It's being able to brandish the thing in a threatening manner. But yeah,
And
most of it was I kind of uh, I talked to my I was I had worked with a a trainer in the gym a
oh,
few times over the previous years, and I called him up and I said, "Hey, this is what I'm up against." And he says, "All right, well, let's hit the gym." And so it's been a good bit of time, getting in physical shape to do
swing,
it
yeah, and swinging the
because
chainsaw around, I would
yeah,
imagine, right?
and
Yeah.
running. There was a lot of
Right.
running in
Yes.
this show. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I knew it was going to be and we were shooting in Louisiana, so I knew it was going to be a
It's
swamp.
hot. Yeah, I would bet.
Yeah.
And there are some very intense scenes in this film, as you would expect from a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. What was it like filming those? What were some of the challenges? Like the van overturned comes to mind, where the chainsaw is poking in at the young women, and the carnival scene. What was it like filming that with so many individuals, so many stand-ins for that? What do you
Yeah,
recall
that one was Leatherface's first appearance in public.
in public?
Uh,
Yes.
he was, the victims always came to him, and that was the first time he had to run one down, having made the mistake of not running Sally down in the original. He wasn't
Yes.
going to let that happen again.
Right.
And so
But he tried. Right, yes.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
on, go on.
It was, and that was, yeah, it was, they hired a traveling carnival, and, set the whole thing up with rides and everything. It had, I don't know, must have been a couple hundred extras. Um, and, people showed up. It was Halloween time in the movie. And
Yes.
so people showed up in Halloween costumes we kind of played that up. But it was, I mean, a lot of people showed up just to be in the movie and were,
Oh,
there
right.
for free, and they all
Absolutely.
wanted, pictures with Leatherface, and that just wasn't going to happen. They basically made everybody leave their phones in their cars. They didn't allow any, and no pictures ever leaked of of
No.
any of it before the movie came out. But anyway, they wanted everybody wanted at least an autograph. So I spent every minute between shots going around and, shaking hands and
Oh, I
signing
love that.
autographs for
Yeah.
anybody who wanted it. It was
Yeah.
because they were all there to help us. I felt we owed it to them. And
Mhm.
um
That's fantastic. I'm
yeah,
sure you
the one
go
the
ahead.
one the one bad thing, like I say, it was brutally hot, and we had hydration people walking around talking to everybody on the crew and asking, when was the last time you took a pee? And if you,
If you
if,
yeah.
if you hadn't had one recently, they handed you a bottle of Gatorade,
Mhm.
and trying to keep everybody hydrated, because we actually had some people go down, like during the house burning scene.
Yes.
We had people taken to the hospital for heat stroke, and so anyway, we were really trying hard to keep everybody going. And anyway,
And
I
it
was busy shaking hands and everything, and I kind of lost track of my Gatorade, and I got the uh,
oh,
uh,
no.
worst leg cramp. Oh, it was brutal, and it was in my left uh, thigh,
Mhm.
and oh, it was painful. And
And it
it
was
would have
just
been great.
dehydration?
It would
Yeah.
have been great had it been in my right thigh, because that's where Leatherface was injured in the first
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
and
of
he
course.
has a discernible limp
The
in
limp,
our movie,
yes. Yeah.
and it was in the wrong leg. I couldn't believe it. Anyway,
Oh, man.
we got through that. The other scene, you
Mhm.
mentioned the van
The
turning over. That
van.
was that was shot in several sequences. There was the one out on the road where the van actually tipped over,
Mhm.
and then a lot of it was shot in on 2 different days in the soundstage. The one day it was, on its roof, and the girls were stuck inside, and I come busting the windows of the van out with the
Mhm.
chainsaw, and that's all practical. That's all I actually broke those windows out in that van, and it's not easy to do, actually. Um,
Yeah, I can imagine.
car windows are tough, man.
Yeah, they're
You
built
see,
not to
yeah,
shatter, right?
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
they're getting tougher because this was
Yeah.
an older van, but anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
Mm.
was a few days, and then we shot the scenes where it was on its side from the open door. That was shot on a soundstage too. So
Yeah. Well, it all comes together so well. When you watch
yeah,
the
yeah.
scenes back, it's just insane what happens. Um, so I also want to ask, I know that Gunnar Hansen is in the intro to the film. I know you don't have any scenes together per
Yeah,
se.
yeah.
Did you have any interaction with Gunnar Hansen
Well,
for this movie behind the scenes,
I
perhaps?
I really, in preparing for the role, I did a lot of kind of reading and whatnot to see what I watched all the movies, um,
Hmm.
and Gunnar had done a few interviews about it, and I found those, and I kind of became a fan of Gunnar, so I wasn't going
I
to
love
let the
that.
opportunity to meet this guy pass. And we were shooting, they had split production into days and nights, and
Hmm.
they were basically shooting on a 24-hour schedule. And he was shooting days and I was shooting nights. But anyway, I decided this was more important than sleep. So I
Absolutely.
went to the house where they were, we had built a replica of the original
Mhm.
house. It's an actual frame structure with interiors and everything.
Everything. Oh, looks
It
so
was
good. Yeah.
totally, you know,
Even the swing
yeah, everything.
looks just like, yeah, yeah.
And so it was in that house that I met Gunnar, and it was a sweltering day, and there was a there was the still photographer showed up. He didn't want to miss that because he was a big fan too. And so anyway, there's actually a pretty good record of it. I should go back and watch that. I think they put some stuff on the DVD extras
I
about
have
it.
it right here, even with the
Yeah.
lenticular
Oh
cover. You
yeah,
can see it.
yeah.
How cool
Those
is
are getting
that?
hard to find.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of special features. I can't quite read them with my eyesight, but there are a lot of
Yeah,
special
yeah.
features, it looks like.
Um, anyway, it was certainly and he actually, I mean, he was such a genuinely giving man. I mean, just
Mhm.
generous with his time and you know, really just a nice guy. We had met subsequently. He had done his Chainsaw Confidential book, and he
Yes.
was out on a book tour. And he did a couple of signings in Greater Los Angeles, and I went to all of those, and we got to just
Mm.
hang out. And every time we do a convention, if we ended up at the same convention,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I always had a Hoya de Nicaragua cigar. Actually, I always had two in
One
my
for him.
pocket
Yes.
if I was gonna be in his presence because I knew that would get me an hour of just
Oh,
quality conversation.
yeah. Can you share any stories that he
Ah,
perhaps
what
shared with
the
you?
yeah, it was mostly just spur of the moment stuff.
Just being in his company
Yeah, yeah,
was
just
presence enough.
talking
Yeah.
politics and nonsense. I'm trying to think.
I,
Yeah, he at one point he was trying to get a movie made, and I have a terrible memory. Um,
I'm right
but
there with
yeah,
you.
I remember his disgust with movie producers, and
Mm.
Carl was sitting right there too for that one.
As he was sharing this story.
Yeah, yeah. And
That's fantastic.
Carl knows it's all true. He always tried
Yeah,
not to be
sure.
that movie producer, which
Mm,
which it's true. He always did his best.
mm,
If he had a flaw, it was that he was too trusting.
I see. I see. Well, continuing on with the intense moments, there's some very dark material in here, as you would expect from a film like this. Did you have any issues disconnecting from that after filming? What was the vibe like on set, and was it as dark when the cameras weren't rolling?
No, it absolutely. It's it's so weird making a movie like this because you're
Yeah.
doing well. First in preparing to play the character. It's not the kind of character you can get all. What's the guy's name? My mind's a blank. Anyway, get all method with. You can't live
Right.
as Leatherface. I
Exactly.
tried it and lasted about 20 minutes. You
Mm,
can't do it. He's not, no, he is so damaged, as a
yes.
human being. He is so
I
damaged.
absolutely. Exactly.
Gunnar told me, he said in his mind, if you remove Leatherface's mask, you'll find nobody there.
Mhm.
And he really was that was actually the big challenge is because by the time I get the role, he has evolved. He has become
Mhm.
a human agent, but it is not anything you can do. And so I forgot where I was going. Um, anyway, oh yeah, the darkness. Um, the It's all so when you're doing it
Mhm.
from the perspective of the camera, it is hideous.
Yes.
From the perspective of everybody involved, it's completely fake and sometimes ridiculous. You know, it
Yes.
it it it's so unreal. But the
Mhm.
camera, that's the magic of cinema, is that you can create,
Tell
these
the story.
illusions
Mhm.
with a camera. And only the camera doesn't see the guy behind,
Yes.
squeezing the thing to shoot the blood, and you
Right,
know
with the squeeze
and he
bottle
doesn't
or
it doesn't
yeah.
yeah, and actually they were using a garden sprayer in our
Oh,
in our
even better. Yes.
yeah, like, and I never watched playbacks. A lot of
Okay,
the
okay.
actors always wanted to see what they were doing and make sure everything was right. I said, if I'm not doing something right, tell me, and we'll adjust. I
Mhm.
said, I really don't want to. I don't want to get hooked on what that is. And so I
Yes.
never watched playback. And there was one scene where the DP comes up and he says, "You've got to watch this." And it was the scene where Leatherface is peeling the face off the cop
Oh
in the
gosh,
in the barber's
yes.
chair.
Yeah, oh my god.
And most of that
Mhm.
footage ended up being cut. It was so
It was too much?
yeah, oh my God.
Oh gosh.
That was the most, psychically damaging part of the movie, and nobody ever saw it. I mean, it was brutal.
Well, because he's still alive, right? Does he is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
actor
he's
screaming
twitching
while
and
you're
yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, even what you do see is pretty horrific.
Oh
Um,
man.
I
And the
I
other thing
I can only
that was
imagine.
the other thing that was really tough to do in the movie was to bury grandma again.
Yes.
Put her back in her coffin and
Yeah.
rebury her. And most of that was just too horrific to watch. I mean, it was on a real, human level. And it's funny.
Oh,
Well,
for
it's not.
sure.
It's not funny. It's it's something else. I'm not sure what. When I met Marilyn Burns the first time, it was in the house, and it was the very first day I was shooting a scene, and I
Yes.
was I was shooting they decided the very first thing we were going to shoot is that thing at the end when Heather's parents come knocking on the door at
Oh,
the
yeah.
end of the
The
movie,
post-credit scene. Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Leatherface comes bursting out.
Mhm.
And so that was what we were shooting, and they were also shooting grandma's scenes up in the bedroom.
Upstairs, yes.
And so Marilyn Burns was there, and we were also going to shoot the scene where Leatherface carries her back to her coffin in the ground.
Mhm.
And so that was where I met Marilyn. And she comes up to me and she's all, she's dressed in her grandma sick in
Yeah,
bed,
absolutely, yes, yes.
where she's writing the letter. And she comes up and she has this frail little voice and she says, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you." And she takes
Mhm.
my hand and pats it. And oh, and it was so weird because I said, "Oh, wait a minute, isn't this Marilyn Burns?" Yes, it's Marilyn.
Yes. Oh
No,
my
it's
god.
and no, she was my grandma. She was totally, totally into it.
Totally in character at the
Yeah.
moment.
And,
Yeah.
and I was just, hey, oh, geez, really nice to meet you.
Hmm. Big fan
And
of yours.
yeah, yeah. And
Wow.
it was that was really striking when it came time to
Mhm.
do the scene for me of putting her back in her coffin. That's
Yes.
what made it so
Wow.
emotionally brutal.
Mhm.
And it's funny. I mean, we shot this. I rehearsed the scene with a friend of mine. I put her down in the coffin and closed the lid and all this stuff.
Yes.
And so I got it all worked out. And one of the things I wanted to do in that scene was a little callback to the original, where Leatherface carries Grandpa with
Mhm.
the hitchhiker down from upstairs and sets him up at the dinner table. And he
Yes.
gives his head a little pat and kind of kisses it. And, Leatherface is just a really sweet, whatever he
He
is.
has his
He's
moments. Yes.
he can be a sweet
Right.
boy.
Right.
And so anyway, I wanted to do kind of a callback to that. And so when I sat grandma down in her coffin, I gave her head a little kiss
Mhm.
and just laid her down and then, took a beat and closed the lid
Yeah.
and it took a while to go
Mm.
through it. And and then I had to start shoveling dirt on the coffin. And Marilyn
Incredible
is in the
moment.
fucking coffin the whole time. I mean,
As you're
it's
burying.
she was such a trooper. Oh my
Wow.
God.
That's like what
Anyway,
nightmares are made of, right?
they
Getting
they
buried
they they
alive.
yeah,
Like, but yeah.
they finally yell cut and they get Marilyn out of the coffin. And I realized basically, the whole crew is absolutely silent.
Mm.
I think they were all
I bet.
pulled to, emotion.
Very,
I don't
very
know if
emotional
everybody was
moment.
crying, but I know I was.
Mm.
And anyway, the problem with that is it comes at the end of the movie. And the last thing as a
Yes.
movie maker you want, especially if you got the rights to 5 more Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, is for people to walk out of your Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie crying.
Mm.
So they couldn't they just show the barest snippet of it, of the whole sequence. Basically you see I think you see the coffin
You
close
do
and
see
then kicking
some.
kicking some dirt onto the into the grave. That's about it.
I'll have to go
The
back
rest
and
of
look and see
the
if
rest
the.
of it was absolutely unusable.
Oh, that's too bad. If there are
Oh
deleted
man.
scenes, I
Oh
wonder
yeah.
if
Yeah,
that's
I
on.
don't think that would be in the deleted scenes, but
You think it's gone forever?
yeah, I
Mm.
don't think they keep that kind of thing, but
Oh, that's too bad.
yeah,
Well, at least you had that moment with her and
it
that
was great.
moment on set. That's fantastic, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy for you to have that memory and have lived through that.
Oh, thank you.
Um, Yeah, you're welcome. So let's see. I have to ask about Alexandra Daddario, who you do have a number of scenes with, including the infamous scene where she says, "Do your thing, cuz," which
Uh-huh.
I understand was improvised. Um, but my question for you is because she's since blown up. She's a huge
Yeah.
actress now. What was
No,
it
that
like?
that that
What was it
line
like
was in the
working with her? And
yeah.
did you have a sense that she was going to go on and do some great things after Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah, she was already cooking, and that line
He
was
was
in the
heating.
script.
Oh, it was in the script? Okay, I'm mistaken
Absolutely.
then.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
it was
okay.
in the script.
All right, I'm
Um,
mistaken.
yeah, no, she was already, one of the most she wasn't commanding the big
Mm,
bucks yet
mhm.
at that
She was on
point.
her way
and
up for sure,
and
yes.
they wisely signed her to do uh 2 or 3 more movies.
Oh,
We
okay.
we were going to do 6 altogether. And
Wow.
I think I was the only one who was signed on for all 6. Um but anyway, I think she was going to come back for 2 more. And by the time we would have shot those movies, they were getting her for a bargain of a price, and
Mm.
they blew it. They just
So what
let the
happened?
whole thing fall
Why?
apart.
Wow.
People, I don't like to be mean,
Mm,
but people with the money to make movies aren't the smartest people walking around. They think they are. And
okay.
they certainly don't know anything about making movies.
Mm,
And so, as I think you can tell from what happened to the franchise after our
yeah.
movie, I mean, our
Hmm.
movie, it opened number one at the box office,
Hell yeah. Yeah.
against. I mean, I don't remember where The Hobbit was in its run at that time. Let me turn that thing. Oh, excuse me.
I think so when it came
There
out
it
in
is.
what, 2013?
Yeah, January.
January 2013. Okay.
And it was originally supposed to come out for Halloween of 2012.
Mm.
So I think it would have done considerably better at that time. But
In
anyway,
October.
it was a
Yep.
number one movie. Even Lionsgate was shocked. They couldn't
Yep.
believe it. They had a party opening weekend, and people were just amazed. Holy cow! We got a number one
Hmm.
movie. It was
I saw it in the theater. Yeah.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
fun. The
yeah.
the 3D element
I
was
got to
fun
see
too.
it with Alexandra Daddario in the theater, so that
Hmm.
was that was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's such a nice person too. Just really, really a
It
good egg.
seems. Yeah.
You know, they kind of kept me away from the rest of the cast. I didn't like they all were living in a hotel in downtown Shreveport, and I was staying at this house in the outskirts. It was a nice
With
house with
no electricity. Oh, okay,
no,
okay.
it
It was a nice
it
house.
was a nice house with a pool, so I
Oh,
wasn't
nice.
complaining. And
Yeah, oh, for sure.
anyway, I
Yeah.
never got to, we had there were a couple of cast or crew,
Mhm.
events, parties. One of the guys had a big barbecue out at his house on the lake, and it was nice. And we went out to dinner one night, but that was
Yep.
it for socializing with the rest of the cast. So I never really got to know them particularly at all.
Mm,
Um,
okay. I mean, I
but
guess since you are killing them on screen, they probably
right,
intentionally
right, and
kept
yeah,
you
yeah,
apart, right?
yeah. And
Yeah,
the
that
only
makes
time
sense.
that really caused any problem was poor Kenny. As he's trying to get away up the stairs, and I had to
Yes,
catch him with that meat
the
hook.
hook and drag them.
That's actually a practical effect. I had a 3 foot steel meat hook in my hand, and I planted it in his back and dragged him down the steps. It was a hell of a stunt that we worked on for,
It looks
I worked on
so
for a
good.
good two
Yeah,
weeks.
to get it
And
just right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they didn't give him enough time. But on the
Mm,
day when we were pacing it out, we slow walked through it, and they put marks everywhere. I had a mark on the handrail where I
right.
had to have my left hand so that I knew where my right hand was in relation
Okay.
to everything else. And I always had my feet on the same steps, so I always had to start on the right foot and get there,
Hmm.
and boom, it's choreographed down to the inch. And the one thing I said is he's got when he hits his mark, he's got to stay there for a
Yeah.
beat because I can't hit a moving target.
Right.
I'm going to hit a particular spot.
And it has to be that
And if
exact
he's not
spot.
there,
Yeah.
whatever is there is getting hit.
Yeah.
And I guess the thrill or the excitement and the adrenaline of having Leatherface actually chase you up the stairs with a 3 foot meat hook got the better of him. And on the first take, um,
Oh
the
no.
adrenaline just got too much for him, and he had to try and get away. And
Yeah.
so he hits his mark like he's supposed to, and then he immediately moved, and he came back up trying to get up,
Oh no.
and I'm in mid swing. I you don't have
Oh my
time to
gosh.
think.
Yeah.
And anyway, you know, and once you get it's a heavy steel hook,
Mm,
so you
my
get it
gosh.
going. All
Yes.
you can do is hang on to it. You can't let it go because you'll hurt somebody else. And anyway, I tried to stop it, but again, it's a 3 foot long lever. You're not going to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hit him in the back of the head with it, but I had it turned sideways. So I didn't gore him with it. I just
Okay.
hit him
Okay.
with it.
So he survived. Did he have to go to the
Yeah.
hospital? Was it
No,
any
he
concussion
got
or
up
anything?
and ow,
What the hell?
but son of a gun, Karam Sanchez.
Oh my
What
gosh.
a machine he was, man. He shook it.
Yeah.
Oh geez, yeah. I felt so terrible. I hit him with that. Could have killed him.
You must have been horrified in that moment
And
when you there was nothing you could do, right?
yeah, yeah,
Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
anyway, we reiterated, "No, you gotta stay down," and the second time he stayed down
I
because he
bet.
doesn't
I'm sure he stayed
in the
down. Yeah.
scene, he never gets away. He was never
Right.
supposed to get away, but,
Yes.
like I say, the adrenaline just got to be too much for him, and it
Oh my gosh.
happens. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad no one was seriously hurt.
yeah,
So,
he had a nice bump on his head.
a war wound, let's say. So, with the Texas Chainsaw film, what would you say you're most proud of with this movie?
Um, I would say that it was the entire mission
Hmm.
to follow the original with uh with a
Yeah.
continuation, with a sequel,
Hmm.
and stick with that, pay respect to, the characters and the story that were created there.
Hmm.
And the I mean, it was a genre creating movie, really.
Indeed.
But yeah, paying respect to the original. That was our main mission.
Yes.
And then, I mean, Tobe Hooper, he enjoyed our movie. He said it to me.
Oh
He
my
said,
gosh. What did he
he
say? What were his exact words,
um
if you can remember?
yeah, actually, he was at that party opening weekend, and one of the things he said to me was he was so glad to see Leatherface on screen again.
Mhm.
He says, a lot of the other interpretations weren't Leatherface to him. He felt like it was really, he was really back. And I think the scene
Wow.
that really got him was the sewing the mask on his face. That thing.
Into
He
your
said
face.
that
Yes.
is
Oh my
really
gosh.
Leatherface. That's
Oh
who
my
he
god.
was,
Yeah.
That's to show that
Through the
connection.
cheek, right? And he kind
Literal
of winces a
literal
little bit.
connection.
I'm sorry,
Uh-huh.
keep talking over you. Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Wow, what a compliment. You must have been floored to
Oh,
hear
yeah,
that
yeah.
from
No,
Toby Hooper.
he was yeah, Toby was
Unbelievable.
really, really a fun guy. We got to have a couple of cigars together that night and
Mm.
just talk
Wow.
Hollywood nonsense and
You must pinch
whatnot.
yourself now thinking like, wow, did that really happen?
Yeah,
That's just
it
that's
is kinda like, I
that's
don't know,
incredible.
remembering somebody else's life. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you should be very proud
Well,
because it
thank you.
was your life. You lived through it, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's just awesome, if you ask me. I kind of have a fun question for you. I know
yeah.
you said you've seen all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. Other than Texas Chainsaw, what is your favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre film if you had to choose one?
Um, hmm, hmm. I would say,
Put you on the spot a little bit. Yeah,
I
go
would
ahead.
say Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Mm, that's so good. Yeah,
It's hilarious.
I love it. Yeah,
It is so over the top, absurd, and but hilarious. Like number 4 was over the top too.
that's
But
for sure. Yes.
it did not have the uh yeah, I loved the humor of it. It was so
Yes,
hilariously funny.
so good. Like the Three Stooges bit and the final act with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
three of them. It's and Caroline Williams is one of the best screamers out there and a very talented
Uh-huh.
actress too.
Hems.
So
Yeah, when uh, um when the cook talks about his hems, I still
oh
remember that.
yes,
Jesus.
yes. Oh my gosh. And that intro with the guy who has the most annoying voice ever and that gets his head cut in half. Um, let's see. So now that you played Leatherface, is there another horror villain that you would have loved to step into the role of if given the opportunity?
I when Universal was talking about making another Frankenstein,
Oh,
I threw my hat in the ring of the hat, but that I didn't get that.
oh, too bad.
I don't know what they ever did with it. I think they actually made something. I can't
Hmm.
remember. It's hard to keep track of
There's a
everything.
Netflix Frankenstein that just came out,
Yeah, no, that
but
wasn't it.
that's
It was
that's a
actually Universal
oh,
Studios
it's
was
Universal.
gonna,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
do it.
hmm. I think you would have been fantastic as Frankenstein.
I would have given it
Um,
my all, but
yeah, wasn't meant to be.
no.
I could see you doing a good Jason Voorhees.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. I I hadn't thought about it, but
yeah,
I probably, you know, acting in a mask is different. You know,
it is very
it's
much so. Yes.
you have to make the emotional intent you know,
Mm.
something physical. You know, you can't rely on, you know, a a a, a
The
wry smile.
facial,
Yeah,
yes, facial
it
expressions. It's
has to
all
be something physical. It's a different set of challenges.
absolutely, absolutely yes. Um, let's see. I'm curious to know what's your favorite horror movie of all time. What's your number one favorite horror movie
Hmm.
if you had to choose, or top three? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Um, you know, Texas Chain. Well, you know,
Texas Chainsaw. Yeah,
the first VHS I ever owned was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So
it makes perfect sense.
I'm trying to think if I've ever owned another one. I've got DVDs and stuff of other ones, but um,
Yeah,
yeah, that
Texas
would
Chainsaw
probably
Massacre.
be, yeah,
I
my
support
favorite.
that.
I love you know, Night of the Living Dead. You know,
Yes,
that was a great movie.
the first
Return
and
of the Living Dead came out, I think,
yes, 86, I believe.
was it?
85, 86.
Yeah, sometime around then. Anyway,
And then, well, we had the remake, Tom Savini's remake of Night of the Living Dead in 1990, I
yeah.
believe, um, which is also fantastic. Well, Dan, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Congratulations on the
Oh,
Texas
thank you.
Chainsaw, and
I appreciate it.
it's just amazing that you got to play Leatherface, and I'm excited to talk with you, and I'm very happy for you as well. Now, before we started recording, I told you I do a this or that segment at the end
Oh,
of each
yeah,
of my
yeah.
videos. Basically, I ask you two things. You just pick one or the other. It's usually kind of fun, and
This
in
is
most,
this is like that cognitive test that they keep talking
well,
about.
kind of, but it's a little
Yeah.
lighter than
All
that.
right,
Yeah.
good.
Yes, it's
Good.
not like,
Go
what is it?
ahead.
The Horseshack test. What do you see
Uh-huh.
here? It's nothing like
Uh-huh.
that. Um, and in most cases, there's no right or wrong answer. But let's jump right into it. The first one I have for you is Psycho from 1960 or Rosemary's Baby from 1968.
Oh, Psycho every day.
Psycho. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'd do that too. They're both fantastic,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
it's nothing to
let's.
do with Roman Polanski either.
Mm,
That's
yeah,
not part of it for
there's
me.
some
But yeah,
baggage there.
Psycho,
Yeah,
you can't. That's hard to top.
can't go wrong. Exactly. Do you prefer a creature feature or psychological horror?
Hmm. I tend more towards creatures.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the
There should be
more
some
creature
a monster,
features.
a
Yes,
monster. Yeah.
the new primate film with the killer chimpanzees is quite terrifying if you're looking
Ooh,
for a
ooh.
new creature feature. It's like a modern day Cujo.
All
Um,
right,
it was fantastic. I loved
all
it.
right.
Okay, let's see. Candyman from 1992 with Tony Todd,
Mm-hmm.
or Hellraiser from 1987, our first introduction to Pinhead.
Oh, Hellraiser. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nostalgic.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, that was. Yeah, I
Uh,
saw that
yeah.
in the theater when it came out
Oh, nice.
several times. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that was a groundbreaking movie, man. We had never seen anything like that.
So
that
good.
was
Clive Barker,
that was a
Doug
great one.
Bradley as Pinhead.
Yeah,
Um,
I got to do a panel at a horror convention with Doug one time. He's
oh
such a
my God,
nice
that's
man.
so
What a
cool.
smart guy too.
Yeah,
Jeez.
he wrote a book, and I did meet him at a convention. He's very nice. Um, I love the Hellraiser films too. I feel like they kind of fell off a little after like the
Yeah,
third one,
yeah.
but whatever. Let's see. Really hard one here. Do you like tacos or cheeseburgers?
Um,
Or cheeseburger?
cheeseburgers. Yeah,
Cheeseburgers, yeah.
cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Although, nothing, if you can get a good taco, you can't
Nothing
where I
beats a
live.
good taco. Well, you can't.
Yeah,
Oh, that's too bad.
no,
So go with
no.
the cheeseburgers.
It's I live in the middle of New York State, so
Oh
wait,
yeah.
these poor people don't know from
Mhm.
tacos, burritos, nothing.
Chicken wings are good there though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Good chicken wings. Yeah. Can't
They
win them all.
invented them.
Of course, yeah, Buffalo, New York. Let's see. So this might be controversial. The 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so the very first one, or the 2003 remake. And I think I know
Oh,
what you're going
oh,
to
the
say.
original, yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, I would do that too. I do like the remake, but
Very radically different
definitely
movies, oddly enough.
it's
That
hard to
they're
even compare the two, right?
Yeah, yeah, no,
Mm,
but they were each, of their time. You know,
yes. Yes. Very
you
much
know
so.
that that
Um, yeah,
anyway.
no, I hear
I
you
could go
exactly.
on.
Of course. Okay, kind of general here. Do you like 70s horror movies or 80s horror movies?
Hmm. Um.
Because they
I
each had a
like
very
I
unique
like
style,
some
right?
70s and some
Yeah.
80s. I don't like
There you go.
all of either one.
Hmm.
Um.
Okay, so
Was
both.
there yeah, I mean, I was a teenager in the 70s, so that
I feel like
culturally, that kind of speaks to me more.
the 70s, yeah. The 70s had more of like a gritty kind of approach, like a real
Yeah,
authentic
we
approach.
still
And
had
then,
hope.
yes, then
By the
80s was
80s it
the
died.
slasher,
Yeah,
like just
yeah,
over the top. Um,
everything died.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. So I've got some remakes here:
Hmm.
"Invasion of the Body Snatchers" from 1978 with Donald Sutherland, or the Blob remake from 1988.
Um, Body Snatchers, I'd
Yeah,
say.
I think
Yeah,
so too. Both are
yeah,
great remakes, but that the Body Snatchers from '78 is just chilling.
yeah.
Um, let's see. Directors here: Wes Craven or John Carpenter, if you had to choose.
Mm, hmm. Pass.
Pass. Okay,
I
fair
couldn't
enough. You
choose
can't
between them.
choose.
No,
You can't choose. Okay, fair
no.
enough. The Omen from 1976 or Phantasm from 1979.
Um,
Tall Man or Damien.
mhm. Yeah, The Omen probably had a greater emotional impact on
Mhm.
my psyche than Phantasm.
Yeah, I think so. And that movie still haunts today. Still
Hmm.
haunting today if you check
Hmm.
it out. Um, okay, let's see. Would you want to have a weekend getaway to Camp Crystal Lake in Friday the 13th or the Overlook Hotel in The Shining?
Oh, The Overlook. Yeah.
You think you'd survive the Overlook more than
Oh, yeah.
Camp Crystal Lake? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
I'd vibe totally with The
And
Overlook,
there's
man.
so much more to do at the Overlook. They
I'd
have that
fit right
the
in.
really fun maze.
Hmm.
They throw some great parties there. Okay,
Hmm.
very last question here. The Halloween franchise, so all the Halloween films, or
Wow,
the
that's a
Friday,
lot.
or the there's a lot, or well, the wait till this, or the Friday the 13th franchise, all the Friday the 13th films.
Hmm. Ooh. I think I have the full set of Halloween on DVD,
Oh,
the
nice.
full box set.
Yes, yeah, it
I
came
think
out a
I'll
couple
pick
years.
that.
Excellent choice. That's my favorite film and favorite franchise as well. So I support that decision.
All
Well,
right.
Dan, thank you so
Oh
much for
yeah, I see
playing
your
along
sign.
with.
There's your sign. All right.
Oh yeah, and there's some Halloween films, right? And
Mhm.
Jason masks right around him. Let's see. Well, thank you so much for playing along with my this or that segment. Thank you for talking with me. This has been absolutely amazing. Congratulations again. We hold up Texas Chainsaw. Congratulations on playing Leatherface in
Thank you
this
very
awesome
much.
film. And this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for
For
talking
me
with
as
me
well.
today.
Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome. If you're watching, like and subscribe because it helps my channel. And Dan, one last time, this has been amazing. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Nice talking to you.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. Bye, everyone.